Good afternoon, good evening, good night, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode 3 of Breaking Down Security, and with me is my ever faithful companion in this TARDIS of life, Mr. Betcher.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Yep. So this week, before we get started, it was freaking cold today, wasn't it?
Yeah, ice.
I tried to slide down my driveway, but I got about halfway down, and apparently it hadn't froze all the way through. So I fell over on one side. It was pretty bad. So
if you were 20 years older, you'd break a hip.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have broken a hip. I think I saw on the news they were saying that every state, including Hawaii, there was some part of that state had below freezing temperatures at one point. I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
Hawaii
except Hawaii.
Even. No. He said even Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah, this was Brian Williams. So he said every state had temperatures below freezing at some point.
Crap.
I can only assume he means like the tops of mountains and stuff. I think he was cheating. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. So one thing last week, I'm going to make a little correction here. When I was talking about CVEs, I called them common vulnerability enumerations.
Yeah.
I actually found that only on one site as like a list of acronyms or something. It's actually common vulnerability exposures. So that's what it means when the CVE number, when we were talking about CVEs. So CVEs are common vulnerability exposures.
Whatever. It's a government thing, right?
Well, yeah, it's set up by, people in the know. So we always strive to be correct. And I had somebody actually email me and say, "Hey, dumbass, you got it wrong." And I was like, "Thank you, kind viewer, for listening." I was stoked. I was happy about having the feedback. It wasn't so much he was telling me to, I was a dumbass. I was like, yeah, we got listeners. So we appreciate all the listeners. So let's see. This week, all of our podcasts up to this point have been kind of a building upon something we were going to do with a gentleman by the name of Michael Gough, a local Austinite, but he also does a lot of work in detecting and preventing malware. And the first podcast you heard was about hashing. The one before was about vulnerability scanners and finding malware. This one, this week, is going to be about logging events and alerts and talking about what constitutes alerts and events. And what we're going to do with Michael Gough, I hope we're getting his name right. I'd hate to say his name wrong. Anyway.
We'll ask him. Do you prefer Mike or Michael?
Michael. Yeah, Mike or Michael. I was thinking more of the Gough, the Gough bit. But he goes as Hacker Hurricane on Twitter. You can hear about him. He's going to do what I hope is about a 2-parter or a 3-parter on malware. And he is going to, we're going to interview him next Wednesday, as a matter of fact, at Cheesecake Factory. So any Austinites who are listening, if you want to come by and help us pay for his lunch, we would appreciate that. Because I have a feeling he's going to hit up our tab at the bar quite heavily.
Yeah. Yeah, the second or third part will be better than the first.
It'll only get better as we get more lubricated. Yeah, I think we've marked off about 2 hours for lunch on that day. So we're going to go through malware. We're going to talk about kind of a beginner's guide to it, an intermediate guide to it, and an advanced guide to it. And he has a program called the Sniper Forensic Toolkit that him and another gentleman, Ian Robertson's, working on. So we're going to be working on that with him. Hopefully have a 2 to 3-parter on that. So you want to stay tuned for that. So, Mr. Betcher, we were talking about, to get into our podcast this week, we're going to be talking about alerts and, how we get alerts on systems and why they're important to us.
Okay. Well, first of all, you got to...
get our definitions.
Definitions. Okay. What's an event? Okay. An event is a noteworthy occurrence. Event can be like a Joe user logged in successfully, or someone attempted to log in and they were unsuccessful. Leroy FTP'd a file to such and such address. Anything that happened,
Mm-hmm. So even general operation could be events like logging in successfully or changing directory to, var log, and maybe you not having access to var log audit if you tried to get in there.
Basically
anything can be an event.
Yeah, something that happens. It's an event.
Yeah.
My screen went blue.
That never happens. Oh, right. It does all the time. So, but alerts are us being told about the events that occur.
Okay, let's see. An event can be created by anything, an OS, an application, a process, an agent creates an event.
Okay.
You know, they report events to some sort of a central monitor usually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference
Yeah.
between an alert and event is an alert is the notification of an event, a series of events, or a correlation of events that need attention. Okay, anything that needs your attention would be an alert.
Now, could you be alerted if somebody successfully logged in that was supposed to be logged in successfully on that box?
Well, okay, well, if it requires your attention, then yes. Like if, someone's supposed to be logging in, I don't know, maybe the auditor is on site and he's logging into your box and you're the manager and you didn't know this. Maybe it's an alert for you.
Yeah.
But typically there are things that happen that are wrong.
Yeah.
Like, oh crap, your CPU's at 100%.
Sure.
That would be...
Hard drive is getting full.
Yeah, that would be an alert. So that's the difference between an alert and event. Events,
Yeah.
you typically want to have them in logs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want
Sure.
to log those events.
But you want to be notified too. And there's,
Of events? No, not really. An event,
well, I mean, it depends on if you're having to, log those events and, log those alerts because of compliance reasons. I mean, various compliance frameworks require certain levels of logging, like user logged in directly as root, and that's a problem, or they sudoed to root, so that has to be logged. Sometimes you get logs and events. You get events for logs that haven't been sent to a log server. You should get an event saying, hey, this host didn't send their logs in.
well, an event is any occurrence, any noteworthy occurrence. An alert is a subset of that, and it's an event that you need to know about, right?
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
That's an alert.
Yeah. And alerts don't have to be from logs either. If you have an IDS or an IPS, if you reach certain thresholds or certain heuristics are found, we get them all the time at work when you have an IDS and it says, we've noticed activity from this server to this server. It doesn't necessarily have to be a rule. It's just saying it's noticed some odd behavior and we're going to go ahead and alert you to that. We will log it, of course, but we also are going to tell you that this is going on and you need to investigate. And that's the important thing about alert. You need to kind of follow up and investigate these alerts if they're necessary.
Right, and events and alerts should be logged depending on what level you want to log, whatever that you're running.
That's right.
Sometimes, you can have a third-party application look at your logs and then create events from those, right? So it gets complicated, but, the main thing is events are first. Events are first. And then, you can get alerts from that depending on the severity.
Yeah, and there's different alert levels. When I was looking at some of the websites for this, they, you think, oh, you get told about one thing. There's actually several different kinds. I mean, there's informational alerts. You have warnings when a threshold's about to be reached. For instance, your HVAC in your data center went down and you're getting warnings that the CPU temperatures is, reaching 150 C or something and it's about to melt down.
Right. You'd probably get a warning when it's getting higher, but then, once it reaches that threshold, then you'll get maybe an incident spawned or something like that. Maybe, you'll set it up to where, hey, if it reaches this alert, then you'll get paged or called.
Or if you have management software on your network, once you notice a system gets to 150 C on the processor, which is, it's a lot. I'll figure it out later. It's a lot Fahrenheit, but the management software may go, well, we need to power this system down so that we don't damage the system. So,
Right.
Somebody can look at it later on, or, you get those kinds of things with ups as well. Oh, there's been an interruption in power. I'm going to go ahead and log that to the syslog as an event. I'm going to, send an SMS or an email or a pop-up to the NOC, the Network Operations Center. Hey, we've had a power outage. I'm going to go ahead and gracefully shut these boxes down. So, it's more than just, hey, there's some bad man on the network. There's a myriad of different things. Actually, if your HVAC went out, you may, depending on how your system and network is wired, it may be on a computer too, and it'll be like, hey, your furnace has got a -5 error or something. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know what a -5 error is. Honeywell didn't tell us.
Yeah. I like to think of them as being 3 alert levels just to keep it simple. But you saw Windows does it a lot differently. Like they have critical and all
Yeah.
kinds of other crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, they have like 6 or 7, and I think on Linux, if you're running a syslog daemon, it has like 8 different versions of them. That range from hey, this guy logged in successfully, and that's cool, all the way up to oh my God, the place is burning down.
Yeah.
Let's kill it with fire or something.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Release the Halon.
Yeah, release the Halon in 3.2.
Yeah.
So your 3 levels are
Informational, warning, and exception.
okay.
Right. So warning, you're about to reach a threshold. You're getting close. Exception, boom, you've exceeded that threshold, and you need to do something about it. So the exception would trigger some kind of an incident or something.
Sure.
You got to go check this out, find out what's wrong.
Yeah. Exceptions, I just thought of the exception thing. You can have applications throw exceptions.
Right.
With, let's say you're running Java or Tomcat for an application type thing. If Java was to crash, it throws a what they call an exception log, what do they call that? A stack trace?
Right.
It shows like a memory dump or something.
Well, it has like an output of where it is in the stack, right? Yeah, you'll go from the highest level, which is it's your class hierarchy there. Yeah. So it throws a stack trace when it reaches an exception that it can't handle.
Yeah, and it shows like memory registers of what was kind of in memory running at the time, and and that's a different kind of event, and you can have warnings for that too that pop up, and we were talking about different ways to display those warnings. In the past few years, it's kind of been cool and in vogue to have the system automatically send you a text message on your phone. But before, it used to be with your knock, you'd have a pop-up on a giant screen, when you see the movies where they've got the 150-inch screens up and, everybody's seeing,
this red box come up that says warning or critical.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Hey, I used to have a pager and I'd get alerts like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the pager thing.
Yeah.
They still do pagers in some cases. So
some people do. It depends. It depends on what you're up against, right?
Yeah. Well, I remember doing that when I was in the Navy. We'd have a pager, and then they upgraded us to a phone. But we would get a pager with an error code, and if it was like error code 30, we were like, oh, that's the web server, or if we got an error code 1, that was like a building issue, or there was danger imminent of a because this was post 9/11, so of course you had error 0 was like terrorist attack or something. We don't use those codes anymore. I can pretty much declassify that because that was a per command thing, yeah, so it was like 99 was like, hey, your boss really wants to talk to you. You better answer the phone when I call, that kind of thing. And when the error 99 come up, that it was probably should have been about an error 0 at that point with the importance or something.
I used to have a pager at Christmas time when things are slow, right?
Sure.
Nobody's shopping or whatever. I would get this page that says, hey, you haven't gotten many events. You don't have enough events today. Something might be wrong. And I'd be like, so I'd get up Christmas Day or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, what's going on? The system's down. I'd log in and, oh, well, we don't have much activity because it's Christmas and no one's doing anything. And so those are the kind of alerts that I just can't stand. The things that are triggered by volume, like, oh, you don't have enough volume, so something must be broken.
I've been known to see reports like that where, for a contingency plan, I used to work at a place where for the DR plan, you'd have to get put into a specific networking group. And for security, we would have to know if somebody was put into those groups. And every day, regardless of whether or not somebody was put in there, at 10:38 in the morning, I would receive something in my inbox that said, there's nobody in that group. And,
don't even get me started. Those are the
alerts.
I don't know what you call them, but I always call them positive notifications. as opposed to
Yes.
negative notifications. Now, negative notifications are what you want. Oh, your data center just caught on fire and burned down.
Yeah.
You should know about this. Oh, okay. My phone rings or my pager goes off. Ah, okay. I absolutely need to know this. But
Yep.
if something happens like, oh, everything's fine. Why would I need to get that alert? Everything's fine. Oh, crap, my phone's ringing. Everything's okay. Oh, whew, thank goodness. Oh, I
Yeah.
was
No
getting
news
worried
is
there.
good news. No news is good news. And that's kind of indicative of some thinking in the workplace or in the workforce. It's like you always need that it's almost
That
like
assurance.
posting to Facebook. You always need to know what's going on, even
Yeah.
if it's nothing going on.
Or even if it's, in this case, it's good stuff. Things are not broken. I need to know that things are not broken. So give me that alert. So I had a product manager who would get online every Sunday and check to see if he got this email.
Mm-hmm.
And the email said, everything's okay. The number's balanced. We're good for the week. So when he didn't get that, he would wait, a couple hours. Oh, maybe something's slow. Maybe they're doing backups on the system and it's running things slow. So he'd wait a few hours. And then sometimes he'd forget and come back in the afternoon and check again. If he didn't get it, then he would call. He would call like the operations team or whatever. Hey, can you check and see, something's wrong. So the thing is, if it's broke, get an alert for that.
Yeah.
If it's not broke, don't worry about it. And, maybe, people say, well, what if the email server's down? What if Exchange is down? Well, you should have got an alert for that too, right?
Sure.
Email's down, go check it because your notifications are coming through email. Don't, if there's one thing for the new person that's getting into the support field or the management field or anything, do not set up these positive alerts because they could fill your inbox. You could get thousands of them a day. How do you deal with that?
Well, not only that, you're getting 1,000 positive alerts. Are you going to look through every one of them? What happens if at number 568, that's actually a negative alert? And you just go, oh, those 1,000, that's just crap. I'm going to delete all of those. When in fact, there might have actually been something in there that was needing to be addressed, and you deleted it. The other thing is a lot of people who send SMS alerts as an out of band or a second alert system often use it with the email server. So if your email server goes down, you may be getting the email alert and the SMS from the same box, so you have a single point of failure. So when you have your alerts go out, you have to think about how your alert infrastructure works. If you're going to send SMSs and you're going to send emails, you need to have two different systems doing that so that you don't have a single point of failure for your notification.
Or if your notifications come through email, maybe you should have a separate thing coming SMS that checks your email. And if your email's down, then it'll send you an SMS. That kind of thing.
It's that information overload that causes problems. You really should only be getting alerts for things that are necessary.
Right.
And we see that a lot you see that a lot when you're looking at reports in the day. 20, 30 reports, and it's like you almost have to become a filter, and you waste time in the day that you could be doing something else going, okay, well, I really didn't need to look at this report because this only tells me, 90% of our traffic came from this server. That doesn't really tell me much of anything. Now, if it, in some ways that can be helpful because if you look at it the next day and you're like, well, only 30% of the traffic went to that server today. Why is that? You need to phrase your alerts in such a way so that they make sense, that they're to the point, where you don't have to. I don't want to say you want to, be not second guessing the data, but you want to make it clear and concise and to the point. You don't want this roundabout kind of stuff where you've got to, go from multiple different areas to figure out what the little nugget of truth is.
Yeah.
Your alerts need to be clear and concise and to the point.
I mean, think of it this way. If you have a fire alarm in your house, smoke detector, what happens if that thing goes off every day at noon just to say, hey, I'm working? or midnight. When it doesn't go off,
Yeah.
you're not going to notice. You're going to, I mean, subconsciously, you're probably going, yeah, I'm not going to have to wake up at midnight to, listen to my fire alarm.
I think we need to talk about why these are important for security professionals. If you're looking at these logs on a daily basis and you're like, I don't really understand why we're looking at this. I just make sure that, as long as the box stays green, we're good. If it turns yellow, we need to maybe care. Or, like some knocks I've seen, they stay red all the time and it blinks and all kinds of fun stuff happens and nobody gives a rat's.
Yeah, I've seen them where they have an alert, an audible alert too, just in case they might not be looking at the monitors at the time, or they might be in the land of dreams. They're, yeah, that never happens, but just in case.
Is that a Leroy story you're going to tell me about?
Well, maybe there's too much carbon dioxide in the air and they're getting sleepy,
Oh,
So,
that could happen.
But if that thing goes off all the time, they're just going to turn the volume down. They're just going to mute it.
Oh, I thought the monitor that was up on the wall was beeping. These are actually like they had desktop speakers on their laptop.
Well,
or something
they hypothetically would have speakers that they could turn up or down, on the monitors.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, I've had that before, but it was only when I was in the Navy, and it was basically if you turn that down, you're going to get court-martialed because the Navy can't get, numerical weather models from, our supercomputers. So if you turn that down and the cray scrams or overheats or something, you're pretty much your career is going to be over. So that they had to put a fear into you. I guess you civilian pukes can't get that kind of fear put into you other than just losing your job. So
Hey, what's a job, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. So for security professionals, why do you need to know about alerts?
First of all, if you're doing forensics, like you have this, computer that may have been hacked, you can look at the alerts to tell you, when somebody logged in, kind of what they did at the time.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, you'll also, it works for CSI when you're doing your crime scene investigating. Also, it's good for incident response. You're going to get an alert, something's going on. If your incident response team is, if you've got a cert at your office that you need to do incident response for, that's going to start up. You're going to start the processes for, you're going to notify your operations center, you're going to notify your network person, you're going to notify your boss and go, okay, we've noticed some odd activity. We need to disconnect the server from the network. We need to take an image of this,
Yeah, it's good for
all of that can be triggered from an alert.
Yeah, it's good for business continuity, which is part of security. I mean, if your server's about to crash and you can prevent that by acting quickly, that's a great security benefit.
Yep. And, you get all kinds of alerts for disaster recovery stuff. If it may not even be an IT alert. You may have a separate feed that will, tell you if you've got fire coming. So your EMS may, if you have a fire in the server room, or if, like in areas that are, flood prone or fire prone, you're going to get alerts from the media even that would be able to tell you, okay, we need to start our disaster recovery drill. We need to transfer all of operations over to, the alternate data site,
right,
or the hot backup site, or start up the cold site, if you have enough warning and you can get your stuff up before whatever happens long-term gets it.
And speaking of DR, you could, you might get alerts that say your data replication is not happening or is slow, things like that. So,
yeah, you can, network congestion is causing, issues, between applications, or, a user can't log in to check a bank balance, for instance, if they were trying to get in. You get all kinds of alerts that, go beyond just, a simple server login or a network login, that you can use to make a bigger picture, or to, especially with incident response. I think alerts probably for incident response and is the most important.
Right. And it may be a simple thing, these events that are logged, and they they take up space on your server, and they're not really that sexy or anything, but it lays a foundation, right? It's very important that
it's a necessary evil.
That you're, logging these events properly.
Yeah.
It's
because
real important.
where I've worked and where we work now, we get audited on those things, and you have to, if you have an alert, you have to investigate it because.
Did you say audit?
I used that word audit.
Okay.
I've been audited at other organizations, and we have audits here where we work at our organization that we work at. At the place with the thing. Yeah. And, if you have an auditor come in and he looks at your logs for alerts and he goes, well, hold on. What did you do when this happened? We'll be like, well, that one happens a lot, and we just kind of disregard it. He's going to be like, or she, if it's a female auditor, we are equal opportunity here, might say, well, did you take steps to make that not occur again? Oh, obviously you didn't, because here it is again an hour later, or here it is, 2 days later, or what have you. Fail-orama. Yeah. Fail whale is setting sail. So
proper event management, very important.
That's right. Yeah,
very important for security, very important for audit, and stability.
I didn't use the C word. I used that word. It's different. It's better. They're actually good ones from time to time.
Newer and better, and
it's the new hotness. Yeah. Getting rid of alerts. You want to get rid of the negative alerts. If they happen, you want to address them. Do a lessons learned.
Don't spam yourself.
That's right. Don't spam yourself, because the minute you get 1,000 good ones, you're gonna start getting lazy. You're going to delete those logs. You only want alerts that are clear, concise, to the point, and are important. You just don't want, hey, your boss logged into that server, unless that's something you that's something you don't want to have happen. That might be a reason for an alert. Why is your boss logging into a server? He may have the access. He may just not need to know. Your
boss accessed the build. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was. I think that was pretty good. We're gonna post the logs. We're gonna post the show notes to logging and alert levels. Sorry, not logging. That's a different podcast. We're gonna do one on that too. But we just wanted to talk about alert levels because a lot of what Michael's going to talk about has to do with managing your alert levels and that kind of thing. So
yep.
That was our episode 3 for this week. Let's see. Have you gotten a Twitter account yet? Please tell me you got a Twitter account, or I'm going to sign you up for one. You're killing me on that, dog.
I shall have gotten one already. Whatever that means.
That sounds like a fake alert to me. It sounds like an event. All right. So he will get one. You can reach me on Twitter at Brian Brake, Bryan Brake. See how the last name kind of works with the podcast. That's why I did it that way.
Oh, I get it. Yes. Makes sense now.
You are destined for management, my friend. You are management material. You are. So
that's what they tell me.
Yep. I had registered breakingsecurity.com with my last name, breaking.security.com. If you go to that will go directly to our Libsyn podcast page where you can download the podcast directly. We have a blog at breakingsecurity.blogspot.com. I'm on LinkedIn where I like to, make connections with people. Probably we'll be putting out feelers for interviews if somebody would like to come on and talk about a security topic that would interest them. I mean, we've got no shortage of topics, but you know what? This is all about sharing knowledge and getting opinions from people in the field and in the industry. So if you have a topic that you are interested in talking about, you know what, we would love to have you on. Really, there's no subject that is taboo. Well, is there a subject that's taboo?
In the security realm,
anything?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got privacy, we've got healthcare, we've got regulations, we've got legal matters, we've got. Unless you work for some company is just wanting to shill your product, I think that'd be about the only thing we wouldn't do, unless you're going to give us money, and then we're all in on that. No, I'm just kidding. So, have you got anything else to add, Mr. Betcher?
No, I don't. About alerts?
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, no. All right, so I guess that was all of it this week. I'm probably going to set up my Bitcoin wallet, so I will probably put that on our post if you want to donate Bitcoin to us.
Really?
Yeah, I got a Bitcoin wallet. I figured, it's hip and trendy and people love that kind of stuff. So if I get somebody even to give me 0.001 millibitcoin or something, I don't know. That's got to be like $2 or something, $200. I don't know how much Bitcoin are these days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You could be mining right now, but I guess you chose not to.
Be. Well, my abacus only goes so fast, so All right, well, that's all we've got for this week. I probably have used up enough air in this world. So, stay tuned for episode 4. Hopefully, will be the first of a 3-part or 2-part series on malware with Michael Gough.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I think it will be definitely a lot of fun, because the other reason we want a 2-parter is because in 2 weeks we're going to be going to Sec 542, so it's going to be important that we have a podcast when we're not there, because we have another person lined up for an interview too that we're really excited about. So we want to make sure that we keep that one under our hat just in case that one falls through. So I'm Brian Brake.
I'm Brian Betcher.
That's right. That's Brian Betcher. And this was Breaking Security, Breaking Down Security.
Which one is it?
Day.
Breaking Security or Breaking Down Security?
I know. I screwed up. When I bought all the domains, I didn't put Breaking Down Security because Breaking Security sounded even more fun, like you're breaking security kind of thing. And I was putting my last name on there too, so it sounds awesome.
We're also kind of breaking it down,
Well, I wanted the Breaking Down Security podcast, but I only registered Breaking Security. Maybe I need to register Breaking Down Security. What? Okay, so I will talk to you next week, Mr. Betcher.
Awesome.
And you stay classy, San Diego.